Hello, and welcome to Education Legal Experts Call Line. You're speaking with Principal Justice. Can I have your name, please?
Oh, hi, my name is Miss Miller.
You look confused. Is everything okay, Miss Miller?
Not really. I'm struggling with a student in my class, and I'm really questioning whether he should be mainstream or not, and his behavior is taking up too much of my class time.
Well, if it's affecting your class to the point that it's a detriment to your other students, maybe you should revisit his IEP and see if mainstreaming is the best choice for this student.
I always thought it was illegal to not mainstream, and that teachers are mandated to mainstream every kid, no matter how difficult.
Well, that's a common misconception, but it's simply not the case. We need to do what's best not only for the special needs student, but for the other students in the class. Let me explain. In 1975, a significant shift occurred in the education system treatment of special needs children. Before this, they either had to navigate the general education system without support or they were entirely excluded from the public education process. So Congress passed the EHA.
EHA?
Yeah, the Education of Handicap Act, a landmark legislation. This mandated schools to develop IEPs or individual education care programs or plans, I'm sorry, for each special needs student, outlining the specific supports necessary for their education success. More importantly, the EHA played a pivotal role in promoting the inclusiveness of special needs children in general education classes, or what you call mainstreaming, to the greatest extent possible. This fostered a more exclusive education environment for all students and marked a significant step towards equality in education.
Well, that's great.
Yeah, but remember, Miss Miller, no education situation is a one size fits all. One notable challenge to this mainstream mandate was Daniel R&R versus the State Board of Education.
What was that about?
Let me pull up the case. Okay. According to our records in this case, 6-year-old Daniel, diagnosed with Down syndrome, was enrolled in an El Paso Independent School District early learning program. Upon completing the 1 year program, Daniel's mother requested that Daniel be placed in a non handicapped class for socialization.
Well, that seems fair.
Agreed. And the school thought so too. The school's admission review and dismissal committee, or ARD, approved Daniel to spend part of the day in a non handicapped classroom. However, kind of like your situation, Daniel's instructor observed his lack of participation in classroom activities and his inability to grasp skills that she taught, leading to a significant modification in her lessons. As a result, the ARD revised its decision, and they confined Daniel to a special education classrooms, which limited his interaction with non-handicapped students. It says here, despite being permitted to eat lunch with non-handicapped students 3 days a week, his parents found this decision unsatisfactory, and they requested a view of the ARD. During the second ARD review, it was argued that Daniel struggled to contain information, that he required much of the teacher's time, pulling resources from other students, and because the academic structure of the lessons had to be downgraded 90 to 100%, this risked the educational advancement of other students. Noting these issues, the ARD upheld its original ruling, causing Daniel's parents to file an action with the district court.
I bet the school's gonna get in big trouble.
As I'm reading, it's quite the opposite. See, Daniel's parents made 5 claims to the court. The first being that they were not given proper notice of the changes in his IEP. This argument lacks support because the school reviewed Daniel's placement and then notified the parents of the respectful change. So they did it in a timely manner, and they had time to appeal. It says here the second argument was about that the school didn't evaluate Daniel before removing him for the general education program. But that lacked support because the parents refused to have him reevaluated and they deemed it unnecessary. The third argument by Daniel's parents was that the school failed to ensure a continuum alternative placements as available to meet the needs of the handicapped children for special education services. They cited a EHA rule. But however, the school showed that they tried on numerous occasions to make accommodations for Daniel's needs and created a comprehensive program if the needs were not met by placing him back into a special education classroom. The fourth argument was that the school removed Daniel from his mainstream education for disciplinary actions. However, the school said misconduct on Daniel's part was not the case. He was moved because the teacher's curriculum had to be downgraded, which hindered the other children's in the class education and caused the teacher to spend more time with Daniel, robbing the other students of attention. And the final argument was that the school didn't provide support to help Daniel succeed in mainstream environment. However, the school successfully argued that there was support, including offering an aide to Daniel, a teacher's aide, but he still could not successfully advance in the mainstream curriculum. Hmm.
Really?
Yeah, so the court sided with the school and saying that Daniel's inability to benefit from receiving uh, education in the mainstream classroom. Remember, Mrs. Miller, it's important to recognize that Congress expresses a preference for mainstreaming special education students while recognizing that general education may not be suitable for all students with disabilities. Special education serves as a purpose to either transfer the disabled child from a regular environment or provide special education if satisfactory education is not achieved in a general education classroom.
So, if it's to the detriment of the other students in the class, I can speak up. I feel so bad because I really do like the student and I really want to see them succeed.
As a good teacher should.
But as an educator, I have to consider that the other students in my class might need a good education. So at least I know that I'm not the first one to struggle with this issue. Wow, I no longer feel isolated and ashamed now that you explained it to me, Principal Justice.
Good. In today's teaching environment, we get more and more kids that are diagnosed with disabilities, and we need to be open to understanding their needs. But that doesn't mean that we discount the general education students in our discussion. Remember, everyone deserves the right to an equal and fair education to the best of our abilities as educators. And the EHA, though effective, still continues to present challenges due to its lack of clarity in defining a free and accessible education for disabled students. As long as you follow the guidelines printed out in your teacher handbook, the school will have a stronger stance in supporting your decisions.
Wow, I got a lot to think about. Thank you so much for your help, Principal Justice.
You're welcome. And if you have any more questions, please feel free to call in.
All right, bye.
Bye. Have a good day.
You too.